Leonard, let's go to Colorado Buffalo. Been talking about the recruiting going on, been asking questions about the high school recruiting class or the lack thereof in some cases. Man, what do you think about what Coach Prime has done so far this recruiting season with the guys he's brought in? Unc, tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think, man, there's this old adage out there, and folks with a little gray hair like me and Luzette and Glenn have heard it before, that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
But there's sometimes, man, when you're trying to measure stuff, you got no choice but to juxtaposition it against something else. And when you look at the number of high schoolers, at least at this point, who have signed with Colorado, it is certainly down in numbers from how many signed this time last year. Mathematical fact. All right. But when you look programmatically at what you're trying to accomplish and you go back to when you handed the keys to Coach Prime, the talent level of the young people, young student athletes, high schoolers, if you will, that are visiting, actually considering Colorado, that have Colorado in their top 5 or top 3 or top 2, you can't help but rejoice and know that your program is heading in the right direction, because just 4 football seasons ago, 3 if you will, none of them would have showed up to Colorado and had the interest.
Mm-hmm.
But now Colorado is making it into the finals in some homes. And we say, oh, Neely, well, what about, the numbers were much better last year? Well, but let's look at what has changed in the past 365 days. Now, football teams got budgets now as far as what you can offer a player to play for you. Right? And that comes into play. So here you got a guy who's been on 2 official visits, and his starting number is 1.1 million. What you think he's going to want from the third school? At least 1.1 million, right?
Yeah.
And if you have already dipped into your budget to that degree, that impacts you. And I'm not talking a Colorado story. I'm talking about college football. This is going to go on everywhere. You're not going to be able to measure your recruiting success with the same metrics that you used to measure it in, because it has a true above the table financial component to it. You look at what, I know we're gonna get into it. Look what the guy signed at Texas Tech. Look what he got.
5.1 million.
How many people that he visited actually had that as well?
Right.
So when he says no to somebody and says yes to them, you can't just go to their program. Oh man, what are we doing, man? We falling apart. Like it's don't work that way no more. Mm-hmm. There's so many moving parts to recruiting, including this, Chico, and you know this as a highly touted recruit out of Alabama from the position of tight end. Not only is money coming into play and that kind of thing, what did you start off with when you kicked it over to me? This is a very talented team. And what do people want to do? They want to play now. So when you go on that visit and you look around that room and see what's in front of you, you're going to do just like me when I was about to join the Sonic Boom of the South. You're going to pack your horn up and you're going to go somewhere else, because I can't compete. Not only am I not getting the bread, like I'm not going to play here.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So there's a lot of moving parts to it, Chico.
Yes, indeed. And when you have a guy that's getting approximately $5.1 million after committing, and that's his contract over, I think it was a 3-year period, fully guaranteed. Damn, that's groundbreaking, man.
To college. And keep in mind, still the NCAA says there's no pay for play. I can't pay you based on performance. So you see words like guaranteed, no matter what, whether you get a first down or interception, like it doesn't matter. This is what we're going to pay you to come be on our football team over a 3-year period. $5 million.
What did you say when you asked for the grits and they didn't have any? What did you say you did? You put your hand over your heart. Oh,
Elizabeth.
No, when I see this, I put my hand over my heart.
And let me say this, Chico. Because somebody out there will say, well, WTF, Neely, why even try? Let me tell you why you try, Chico. And this number is only going to go up. It's not going to go down. As we sit here today, 53% of college football players transfer.
Dang.
That's over half. So if you come to me on a visit and I don't get you the first time, guess where you're going to look in 2 years when you're ready to get up out of the other one?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go through the motions. You got to recruit. You got to swing the bat, pause. You got to try. You got to do all the things you can, because no matter where they go, whether it's to you or somebody else, over 50% transfer.
Yes. Oh man. Do you think these guaranteed contracts are going to lower that number at the end of the day? Like, because now if it's fully guaranteed, like the question is, if I'm the player, right? Do I feel like I'm stuck here? I have to stay here. Like I signed the contract. I'm obligated to stay here now, or can I still transfer? Is that still wide open, as if before? Like, what's the
That
situation
that
now? I
part is
want to
still
know.
wide open. It just becomes void should you leave. Like, it's guaranteed as long as you're quote unquote here. But
Mm,
I would say, Chico, I don't think it's going to change anything as far as make people stay longer, because people quit jobs they're happy with every day they pay well. So if you got a better opportunity somewhere, the better opportunity is gonna still go. And so, like for instance, if I get 5 million from you and it's before I've done a damn thing, and over a 1 year period I do more than that, my value just went up. Somebody else is gonna offer me more.
you ain't lying.
So I think it's in aggregation, it's going to actually accentuate the portal more for those who are performing, and then it's going to lead to a system change for those who are underperforming. Because again, at some point we're going to have to be realistic about this pay for play stuff.
Yeah.
Like at some point in America, when you're compensated, you actually have to do the job.
Yeah.
And if I'm compensating you because what I believed you could do, and we 2 years in, you ain't never done it, there's got to be some kind of clawback to happen, or the system is going to implode.
Man, who else is discussing it like this? Chat, y'all let us know. Good. Nobody. I see it in the chat right now. Nobody. Y'all two doing y'all thing. Appreciate it. Because we talking about it right here. We got Professor Chuck Bishop in the background. He's gonna come on and join us, give us some news from the culture also. But man, this is just, you know, game changing how these guys now can leverage that transfer portal with the contract and with their play. Real quick, if I'm a player, I get a contract like this. I go in there, I might be underperforming or whatever. I'm going to want to stick with this contract. I'm not playing. I'm not really having offers anywhere else. I'm going to stay with this contract. Will a team be able to break that contract? Is the next question, because we see that happening in the league all the time. Guys sign a contract, then you get cut here, and it's no problem. You're not talking about loyalty and all this stuff. Then, what do you think is going from there, Unc? Or your thoughts on that? Would teams be able to just cut
Well,
these players soon?
I think so. I think the short answer is yes, but I think it has to be like scholastic in nature, because again, the NCAA is still standing on, dying on the heel of, it's not a pay for play thing. So you can't cut somebody because they didn't get 100 yards. However, you can cut somebody because their failure to attend team meetings, keep their grades up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think both
Mhm.
people, end up with some degree of an exit clause. But Chico, the nature of this thing is this pie is only going to get bigger, because you got to consider this. And I gave the example. I signed Chico, freshman out of Selma, and I'm going to pay him $3 million over 3 years. Well, a year into that thing, he becomes the leader in the nation at whatever he's doing. Right? I got to give him more than $3 million to stay now.
Exactly. Or
you
somebody
know,
else gonna come in with
Yeah,
a bag.
yeah.
So
So it's like
it's
whatever budget you thought you had. How we talked about Travis being in Jacksonville, and how Jacksonville, at least during the draft, said we understand we getting into, that we want him to play both ways and we want him to be great. And if he's great both ways, we know what that's going to do to the budget. Like,
mm,
you have to go into it going like, all right, this is what I got this guy for, but that don't mean what I'm gonna be able to keep him for.
right.
And then so when you see someone signing class looking lackluster, it could be attributed to the success of their current roster and now having to budget for that.
Yes. Yes. Whole different ball game now, man. From the players coming out of high school going to college to the players that's already on the roster staying there. Um, NIL deals and all these other things going on floating around now, man. It's ways to get money if you're
You
a college
go.
football player. Goodness gracious,
Tell you
totally
like my
different
dad,
from when I came out.
like my daddy told me, Chico.
What do you say?
Boy, you got caviar taste with catfish money.
Your mouth writing the check that's can't cash.
You want it,
Damn,
but you can't afford it.
you ain't lying. Whoo, I want it, but I'm too old for it. I was born a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Damn, these guys getting paid, man. More power to them. And
You in that era, Chico. You got the $100 handshake after the game.
something like that,
Along.
yeah.
Right.
Man, listen, Unc. Yeah, everybody goes back to Chico. Well, yeah, it's gonna go back to me because well, it's just two of us talking right now. So you gotta listen to me. Uh when I was being recruited, Unc, I didn't realize this though. I had a former teammate's dad that happened to always wear these Auburn shirts and Auburn pullovers and jackets. It didn't register to me at the time, but he was Auburn alumni and he was an apparent booster. Well, at the time when I was making my decision, he invited me to his house, set me down, talked to me, told me how he was going to take care of me if I decided to go to Auburn.
Sure.
All of this thing over the dinner table. It went over my head at the time. I didn't have anybody with me. It was just me sitting at the dinner table. I'm not realizing what he's saying until later on. He was telling me, man, I'm going to take care of you
If you go to Auburn.
if you go to Auburn.
Yeah.
Once I chose to go to UAB, did I hear from him again? No.
Hell no.
But had I had my antennas up, I would have known what he was talking about. That moolah, baby. Munyon Canyon. I could have been
Yeah.
there.
He letting you know you wasn't gonna want for nothing. He was letting you know this booster is your shepherd, you shall not want.
He ain't lying. Unbelievable. I missed out on that one. Free game, guys, out there. If y'all got somebody.
Took your ass to UAB and he ain't spoke to you no more.
Oh man, shout out to Coach. I'm not gonna call his name, but we got Professor Chuck in the back. We're gonna talk about some HBCU coaching sports. Also, got some news on Michael Vick, news on Deshaun Jackson. We also gonna come back to Colorado football. Also, so stay tuned because we're gonna talk about this quarterback battle between Casey Salter and Juju Lewis and everything else. Colorado Buffalo football. Let's